Trey, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Trey Everett. So I work with the galleries with the Northwest Minnesota Arts Council, and I'm located in Crookston. And Kristen and I, whenever we have a gallery, which is a galleries we have throughout the year, and it's usually about 2 months. The gallery is we have the gallery set up at Northland Community and Technical College in Thief River Falls. Then we try to highlight two or three of the artists in the gallery. And so that's the artist spotlight we're doing right now. And so we've got a couple of awesome artists with us tonight that's in our gallery. And our gallery is actually it's based on this booklet, Artist of Northwest Minnesota. And so this is an awesome booklet. Kristen's going to talk about that in a little bit. But we've worked with the artists in the booklet and brought most of them together into this gallery. And so it's a very unique gallery with all kinds of artwork that highlights each of the artists in the book. So, yeah. So, Kristen, do you want to tell us a little bit about the booklet?
Yeah. So this booklet we create every 3 years, and this particular booklet came out this summer, and it features 32 individual artists in our region. And the artists it's quite a variety of different art, writers, wood carvers, photographers, jewelers, visual artists, metal artists, glass artists, fiber arts, mosaics, printmakers, performers. They might be musicians or actors, potters. It's quite the gamut of artists. And it also includes businesses that provide services or sell supplies. They might frame artwork. They might sell supplies that artists need or sell art. And it also includes like libraries that offer programming, arts programming, theaters, dance studios, galleries. Um, and then the booklet also includes facts about the impact of the arts. And the purpose of the booklet is to help the public purchase art or hire artists. So those of us who are in it, we put our services in there and what we have to offer, and then we share it with our region, so people can find us and hopefully buy some of our art or hire us to do some work. And then this booklet is also the information is available on our website as well. So you can find it on our website, you can find it in the booklet, and the booklets are at public libraries or different businesses throughout the region.
Right. Yeah, and Kristen's camera is not working tonight, but I'll show you. So, we've got a number of pages in the beginning that just highlight the different artists. There's a picture of them and their art, and a little bit about where they're from and the kind of art they do. I guess not every artist has their own picture, but at least their artwork. And so it's just all these pages, and then in the back, like Kristen was saying, in the back it lists different places in the region that you can purchase this art, or kind of locations that artists gather, and you can see different types of art throughout the year. So it's a great resource. And yeah, and if for some reason you want one of these and you can't find it, just send us an email and we'll make sure you get one.
Yeah, that's a great comment. And I should mention too that Trey is in the booklet, and I am in the booklet, and Mara, our director, is also in the booklet. So um, we think it's a good resource for us as well.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's jump into our artist spotlight. So we uh, uh, have Dennis Kincaid and Paulette Christensen, and Dennis is going to go first. And so, Dennis, we're just going to start out. Tell us who you are, where you're located, and just a little bit about yourself, and then the kind of artwork you're involved in.
Well, excuse me. We're up here in Halleck, Minnesota, like 12 miles south of Canada, 16 miles east of North Dakota. So we're tucked up in the corner up here. Started out working with metal back in the 70s when I worked for the Sioux Line. And then we just kind of graduated from there. When I came up here to Halleck to farm with a father-in-law, he was a steel artist that in Arizona. They did a lot of furniture making, wrought iron furniture making, chairs, whatever you have there. He would produce and sell online, and well, not online, but through the stores through there. And when he came up here, he kind of introduced me to the art and guided me through some of the more difficult phases of it. And then since then, we've just been diddling around with it every winter when we have a chance. And usually that's what I work on is January, February, and March, because we're kind of busy the rest of the year. So we sit out, we got a shop in the back, it's all heated and everything. And then we've gained our equipment over the year and skills, and we're always looking for new ideas and tips and whatever. And whatever's out there that we try to do, like the deer skulls and the birds, we just pick topics that are close to home here. The dragon was kind of everybody says you got to make a dragon, so it's a mythical creature. So, you can't go wrong. No matter what you do, it's still mythical. So there's no color composition or whatever on it. It just takes time, a lot of handwork, a lot of grinding, making new tooling for it. All those little beads were all punched out by hand. So it can get very grueling there. And the only thing is we don't want to ruin our hands, you might say, so we have to stop. So that's why we do a little bit at a time. Just hope to keep on doing it till we can.
Okay. Yeah. Now, so just so everybody knows, so you describe this as metal art. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. So you're
steel.
Working with, steel, and just tell us a little bit about, so are you welding? How would you describe your process?
Oh, okay. Like on the deer skulls, we'll take steel and we'll hand cut out the holes for the eyes. It comes in two pieces because when you look at all the skull work, even with the humans, there's a pattern going through here, and you can see it on it if you've gotten skulls or anything like that. There's a split down the middle, so it's a mirrored half. So once we take that, then we form each half, and then we spot it together on the inside so that you still have the crease showing on the outside. After that, it's just heating and forming and bending and metal. And then same way with the antlers, and that's all forged in the forge. And then each segment is welded and ground and then twisted and bent to form. Actually, my brother-in-law, he saves all his bucks. And he's got all these skulls laying around, so we just grab one every once in a while and we just kind of duplicate the horns and all that, so their actual size and all that. And we found out over the years that no matter how old the deer gets, the head measures from the top of the nose to the back of the ears, skull-wise, 11 to 12 inches. So it's a pretty standard form on that, even for the does. And then for the ravens and the crows, just studying them. Went online and found out how many feathers they got on their wings, on their tails.
Measurements.
And the measurements for them and all that, and then converted everything there. And then we just, I got a rotary shear that I can cut out each individual feather. And then we just hand emboss the veins and all the flechettes and everything there. And then there's, the bird is formed with just a kind of a framework, rough framework. And then their feathers are just individually welded so that they cover each other. The only bad spot is around the head, where you're kind of making that transition where you can't make feathers that small and, go that small. And then same way with the dragon. That was formed with the same framework, but then it's wrapped with wire, heavy 9-gauge wire. So it's flexible, so that no matter where you go, you have something you can weld those little beads to make the forms and all that there.
Or the scales.
The scales, yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's time consuming. The tail is the only piece that's solid. That's formed out of a piece of pipe that's put in the forge and hammered down to that small size. And then it's etched for representing the scales, and then the ridgeback is welded on, of course.
But now when he says we, he does not mean we, he means he does this. He speaks as we.
I think, yeah, I've been corrected.
And he doesn't use a pattern.
It's all rough out.
Designed from scratch, and measurements that he's got online for the birds.
But yeah, other than that, because everything's full scale.
Okay.
On the crows and the ravens, those are actual size.
Yeah, when I did, thanks for that comment. I did, when you kept saying we, that was my next question. Who's the we?
No, there's no we.
I hear this mystery voice, outside the screen.
I'm being monitored.
Okay. So Dennis, you're kind of focused on, besides the art and creativity, you want this to be realistic somewhat. I mean, you're counting feathers. It sounds like you're measuring the skull. You're taking patterns from actual antlers. So you're really working on being a pretty close representation of the actual animal or skull.
Yeah, that's correct there. Because we started out actually making furniture and mirrors and stuff, like this one in the back here, this round one. It's got a pattern of maple leaves coming off the side there. I don't know if you can see it that well. I suppose I could bring it up there a little bit.
On this table.
Here.
You want me to hold it?
There we go. Now you can see the pattern of the leaves there.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. So, and then that graces this half wall table down here. This is what we started on as. Oh, put my finger over it. There we go. That's a half wall table.
And it's off of the floor.
Top.
It's not on the floor. And then it's cutouts.
Yeah, it's got.
Cutouts. He had to have the glass specially cut.
Okay.
Where are we at here?
Up
there we go.
Can you see it?
It's hard to see with this thing.
Yeah, that's okay.
But anyway, we started out making this furniture like this, and because that's what Dad used to work with my father-in-law. So then we got involved from there, because nobody buys furniture made out of steel around this country. It's got to be wood or fabric, but steel, no.
Okay. Yeah, and then so this has been a kind of a family. It started as a family business. Then it was your father-in-law, you said, that started this.
He was doing metal work out in Phoenix, Arizona since the 40s.
Okay.
And we didn't start this as a business. He just started this to pass his skills on down rather than being lost, because there's just not too many people interested in that. And he passed away a few years ago.
Okay.
So we just kind of expanded from there now.
He took on the birds and the skulls and all that off of. Dad showed him how to make a table, like a coffee table. He didn't do it, he just told him how. And then he had him make rose, showed him how a rose is made. So he's made a lot of roses out of metal. But then he started branching out into other artwork,
Yeah.
like the birds and the deer skulls and the
Other flowers and stuff.
the dragons.
Yeah. So yeah, it just keeps evolving.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And so you've got, I heard you say a forge. So you actually have your own forge?
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. You got to make a lot of these tools because you can't buy them. You can buy them, but you can't afford them.
Okay. Okay. Well, and give us an idea of like how long is this process? Like, tell us about a rose. How long would that take to make? And then tell us about the dragon. What was that like, and how long did that take?
Well, a rose. Here, hand me that one. A rose like this. Here. A rose like this. Oh. That'll take a day, a good day, just to make it, and another day to do the painting.
Okay.
Because
That's all metal. That's all metal. What you just
it's all metal. Yeah, everything's hand cut and then welded together, and different flavors and whatever. Yeah, a good solid day, and then another day for painting because it takes so long to dry, and then you got to do the hues and all that you're blending in there. The dragon took about a good month because everything was from scratch. Because I had to make a punch die to punch out the scales, and then I had to make another die to bend those scales to give them that concave look.
Yeah.
And then it was just a matter of spot welding each one as you went along there, and to go from there. And then like the feet are all forged, and the head is forged, and the tail is forged, and then they're all assembled together. And then, like I said, then they're wire wrapped, and then the head is the last thing that goes on, and then the whiskers and the hair flare or whatever you want to call it there, and then it's painted. But you could paint those things. We use an automotive. That was a clear coat automotive with a powdered bronze to give it that gold look, and then it gives you that depth and that sparkle. So it's that was just something we learned going along the way there. Okay. But it takes a while. It's not a fast, and it's not 8 hours every day. It's just a couple hours every day, maybe, and some days a full day. But there's other things that got to be done during the winter than. Right. But at least we got some. It's cheaper than going to a bar.
Yeah, and another thing I noticed with the dragon and the raven, and probably some of your other work is it's balanced. It's you have to balance it a particular way. So tell us a little bit about that, because the raven's set up on this pedestal and it's got to be set up a certain way. How do you decide? These are very heavy objects.
Yes.
How do you kind of work with the balancing to make sure it stands upright, it's not falling over? How does that work?
Well, the upright goes to basically where the butt would be on the bird. So that's to give you the most view of the bird in flight. So the legs in front, the two legs in front, extend all the way out to where the beak would go straight down, and the back one is right to the bottom of the line, straight line going down from the base of the tail, and that basically balances that out. The dragon, that was a little bit differently. I used the 2 feet in the back feet, and then the tail was added on so that it would balance itself out too. There was no way else to show all of the elements of the dragon You know, if you put all four down, then you're missing all the belly work. So this way here, you got a complete 360-degree view of the entire animal, and you're only missing the bottom of the tail and the foot area there.
Okay.
So yeah, it does take a while. I was thinking the guy could hang them, suspend them from the ceiling, but I don't think that would work very well for anything that come around here, because they're so heavy. You'd have to have a special bracket for that, and I mean, it would work.
Yeah.
But most people are not set up to have something hanging like that in their house.
No.
Yeah, it would take a special nook.
Right. Right. Yeah, and I do want to say both of those pieces, the dragon, all three, the dragon and the raven and the roses are all at the gallery right now at Northland Community and Technical College in Thief River. So people, if you're watching this and you're able to, you can stop by and see them in person, see this amazing dragon and the raven and the variety of roses. And if you can't get there in person, we do have a virtual gallery that's on our a website, the Northwest Minnesota Arts Council website. Dennis, tell us a little bit about if people want to contact you. Do you take commissions? If somebody wants you to make something or they want to purchase something from you, how does that work?
Well, they can contact me, but my main issue is I have other things that I'm doing, so it's not like a 9-to-5 job where you can go in and pound something out real quick. It'll take some time, and a lot of people just don't have the patience to wait for something to get done, and then they got to sit down and they got to tell me exactly what they want, the size, dimension, the look or whatever. I remember what Dad was saying on his tables when he was painting tables. He says he finally gave up on painting. He just told the gal who was buying the tables, "You go down, you buy this. Here's where you're going to buy the paint. You select what you want, and I'll put it, and it's yours." You can't guess what people want. They have to do some of the work themselves when it comes to selecting the hues and the different colors that they want, or poses, or everything involved in it.
Right.
So,
do you have your any of your work? Do you try to put it any other places in the region or anywhere else people could see your work?
I really don't have time.
Okay.
Come March until now. Actually, I'll be busy now until the end of December. I work other things, right. And that takes up all of my time. So, like I said, the only time I have available, I just lucked out on this one here because it's such a dry summer, and whatever. It gave me extra time to bring stuff to you guys for these shows. But other than that, we're usually pretty well swamped.
Okay.
With my other job.
Okay. Do you have, well, I guess one last question. Are you thinking about anything in the future? Do you have some dreams of, hey, I think I want to work on this, or this is another project I'm thinking of? Anything that's kind of brewing in your mind?
The only thing that I was thinking about is some flowers and hummingbirds.
Okay.
But I just, it's something thrashing around in my mind. I had another one that I was thinking about, but I'm going to keep that one to myself because it's going to be complicated. But at my age, you don't want a long-term project because you got to be able to finish it before you get it the next day, you might say.
Okay. Fair enough. Kristen or Paulette, do either of you have any questions for Dennis? Or any comments?
Well, comments, Dennis, I love your work. It's amazing. Yeah.
If you want to watch it, come on over in the shop this winter.
I know, I would like to, so we weren't live when we were talking about this, but Dennis and I live very close to each other. And until you put your work in the exhibit, I think it was a year ago, I had no idea what you were doing so close by. So,
Nobody else does either.
so I would love to come over and see what you're doing.
Yeah, just give me a caller. If I'm working out there, come on over.
Okay.
It's always shoveled.
Okay, so Dennis Kincaid in Howlock, and Dennis, if somebody watching this was like, I want to contact this guy, what is? Can we give your phone number or email?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Phone 218-988-2197.
Okay.
And the email is dkincaid, KINKEAD 1946@gmail.com.
Okay, great.
I think that's in the book too.
Yep, that's in the book. And Kristen, I don't know if can you add that somehow to our spotlight here?
Yeah, well, I'll make a comment with it.
Okay. Okay, good. So it can be in there so people can find that. Okay, well, great. Yeah, and I do attest, I have to attest to Dennis's work. It's very detailed, and I've had close encounters because I'm moving the dragon around the gallery and figuring out where to put it, and I have to think strategically because I don't want to move it very many times because it's so heavy.
Have you gotten bitten by the bird yet?
I have not gotten bitten by the bird, but I know you have. So the feathers can be very sharp. Okay, great. Well, let's move on to Paulette. So Paulette, you've been waiting patiently, and Paulette's another one of our featured artists in the gallery and, of course, in our booklet. And Paulette, just let's start out again, kind of like we started with Dennis. Just tell us who you are, a little bit about yourself, where you're located, and what a little bit about your artwork.
I'm Paulette Christensen. I live in Badger. Have been here since '83. My husband and I came and we bought the grocery store and had that for 18, 20 years. I am probably trying to find myself again because I had 8 years with my husband who had dementia, and he passed away. So right now, I haven't done a lot of artwork. Right now, I am putting myself back into the school and working with small children and giving them a taste and a flavor of artwork. I used to do that some years back as artist in the residence. So that's always been something that's been fun for me to do. A little bit of history. I taught commercial art, and that was probably something that I did more of instead of the fine arts. I taught that in Bismarck, North Dakota for a couple years and worked with that. Sometimes I did some freelance with the commercial art. Myself, I guess I enjoy the fine arts more now. And if I said I had one medium that I worked in, I'd have to say that would be a lie. I enjoy probably the challenge of what many of the different medias can do. So I'll dabble into something. I've done pen and ink, watercolor, and I alone don't always get along, but I won't say I can't do it. So right now, I guess my thing that I've been doing right now is just going to be working with students again. Maybe I can get back into more for myself. Something that kicked this off with doing some art in the fine arts was probably in the 80s. I did a large picture for my in-laws of memories of their memories. So I'm going to just go over here, and this is a duplicate. Let's see if I can get this focused in. Of their memories. How do I do this? Okay, which way do I go? And this is a small version of that. The picture that was done was probably above their living room couch and was maybe 24 by 36, something like that. And I've done a few of these. I don't know if that shows up or not. So that got me into doing some of the fine arts. And that was real fun and challenging for me. And it was a nice, fun surprise for them. I've also done some other ones where I've been commissioned to do something similar to it. So it's just depicting their life story somewhat. And then from there, I guess I've dabbled in some other things, probably some acrylics. And I'll here again go over here. This doesn't work real well. I'm not doing this wrong.
No, that's okay.
That I did. I see a light reflection on that. That's not good. Here's probably one that I did that was kind of a fun. Oh, deleter. That's acrylics.
Okay.
And this one's a real funky one. It was working with my grandson, who likes to draw, and trying to get him to be a little bit creative, to see what he could come up with. And Grandma ended up doing one too. I'm not turning these angles very well. I'm just bouncing around here. Sorry about that.
No, that's okay.
So that one was kind of fun, and that's something I'll probably challenge some of the school children to do. So they start out with a pair of glasses, and then they have to go from there. So I guess I like to do things like that with students and get their creativity going. So that's what I've been doing right now. What I find with my creativity is that's a stimulation and that's my relaxation.
Okay.
So for me, I just really am looking forward to doing that again myself. So I also had one of the teachers at school who wanted to do a children's book, and she and I sat down and I had to come up with the grumpy bugs, what the grumpy bugs look like. So we together did a storybook on the grumpy bugs, and that was very challenging. Probably not one of my better pieces of work, but it was fun, it was challenging, and I enjoyed doing it. So I guess I've just had some things put in place and put before me, give it to me. Yeah, I can challenge me. I'll try it. So that's kind of the path that I've taken with my art.
Okay. Yeah, like what? So whatever's kind of presented to you, you will take that as a challenge and work with it.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
When I was with my husband and I put that one in the book, I worked with shaving cream along with some colors, and I put my paper down on the shaving cream and squeegee off the color so I had color. And the therapy that seemed to come about with that was the turmoil that I was going through with my husband, knowing that every day I was losing him more and more. So when I did that piece of work, I did three of them. I did a lot of lines in there, so it was very abstract. But through that turmoil going through this with my husband, I had to find one spot that I could say, that's reality. And that was a fun three pieces to do. So those are probably my later ones that I've done.
And that's that was one of these in the book. Is that right?
Yes, that was. Yeah, yeah.
If people can kind of see that.
Mhm.
Yeah. So you said you work with art and creativity. It's a way to relax,
Yes.
and it also sounds like it can be cathartic.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you work with kids and you're teaching them about creativity, um, why do you think that's important? Why is that important for you to work with kids with art and creativity?
I think it's for them, they're so focused on always constantly doing things, and they have to always do things right. Sometimes you have some students in a class that have a harder time with learning abilities. And I think before, when I was doing artists in residence, some of the students that had trouble with the daily assignment, maybe they didn't really understand. I think for them, it was a release to say, hey, I can do this. I feel okay about myself. So I think it's good where they can have that and they can see, well, maybe I'm not always really good in math. Maybe I'm not really good at writing. Maybe I'm not always really top in the class for doing certain things. But hey, look at what I did. And I feel that that carries over into their learning abilities to do the ABCs like you have to do. Um, so I feel that that's kind of important. Um, and it also gives them an extra challenge to say, oh, I can do this. Look at how this turned out. Sometimes they can probably be more creative than the teacher that, or myself that's teaching them. And that's okay. Um, so, yeah, it's good. I
Yeah.
feel.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Yeah. So you uh, just a little bit about your art. So you showed us a few pieces of work
No.
that were totally different.
Yes.
Um, um, so let's go to that first one that you showed us about the family and what was important to them. That looked like a pen and ink, uh, very detailed. Uh, how long did something like that take, and what was that process like for you?
Um, it was done in pencil.
Okay.
How long did it take? Like Mr. Kincaid said, you don't always work at it constantly because you have to take a break. When I started on that one, what I ended up doing was focusing on the couple and started there. And a lot of times, I can't tell you exactly how it's going to turn out because you end up putting the things together that are important or are part of the artwork. So when you're doing that, it just has to fall into place and it has to work out um, where it's supposed to be. And how long that took me? Oh, I would say it was probably a good couple months where I would work on it before I was really finished.
Hmm.
That's long ago, so I'm trying to figure out. um, but yeah, it depends on what you're working with and what you're doing. Um,
Okay.
so and because of the size of it, it makes a difference. If I were to do colored pencil and you have to do a lot of detail, that's going to take a lot more time.
Right.
It's something that you can't rush through because you're trying to do nice details. So you can't
Okay.
rush into that one. And likewise, the black and white where I did that in pencil, yes, that does take up time.
Okay.
And maybe another thing, if you want to say a timeline, when I was doing that children's book, maybe the two of us worked on that for a good year because we had to go back and forth and and do and change things, and then also work with the people that publish it. So that one was probably a good year
Okay.
before it was finalized.
Yeah, and the piece you did with your grandson,
Yeah.
that was, so looks totally different.
Uh-huh.
What was that like?
That was really funky. Very funky. But it was a fun funky. Started out with the glasses. A young man had shown one that his son had done that was very intricate, and I wish I had a copy of that one. But this one just started out with the glasses and started out on the one corner with a little fairy. And I guess I've always liked dragonflies and butterflies and mushrooms, so those were in there. And there's just something about a frog. I've always liked frogs. They have character. So it just went from there. Um, so whatever, it just fell into place.
Yeah. Okay. So you couldn't really plan it out in advance. It just kind of came to you as you went.
That one just came.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
very whimsical. Very whimsical.
Yeah, and I just had a question about your past. You were talking about in Bismarck with commercial art. Tell us. So what does that mean? You worked with commercial art and the difference between fine art, which you're drawn to now.
Commercial, you're always working for somebody. You always have deadlines that you have to do. Anything from setting up type to doing the layout and presenting it to the people to say, is this what you want for your advertisement? So it's always a grind, probably, if you wanted to say it that way. You're always against deadlines. You always have something that has to be done yesterday for tomorrow. So you just have to go through different processes. Whereas the fine arts, a lot of times you can do what you want to.
Okay.
I went with my second year instructor from Fargo Moorhead. I went to Moorhead Tech and went with him and taught at a junior college commercial, or it was in commercial art at the tech part of it. So I was working with him for a couple years. I would teach the first year and he would go with the second year.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So if people if people would like to see more of your work, or you have two pieces right now in the galleries, just so everybody knows, and they're more abstract. Are those acrylics or?
The one of the trees is acrylic. The other one is it's a wash. It's I think that one was also done with the shaving cream where you dip it in, and then I added. So
Okay.
I just added the lines. It ended up being seashells from what I could see, and that was more watercolor.
Okay.
And
And both of those pieces are just beautiful. I was telling Paulette, I really loved them. They're very intriguing. But so you can see those at the gallery, or if you can't make it there in person, you can see our virtual gallery and see those two pieces. And so, Paulette, if people wanted to see more of your work, or have you do something, do you do commissions? How could people contact you? What's the best way to go forward?
I have done commissions. I guess right now, I'd probably shy away from that right now. I would probably just do some things that I can sell that I've just done. But right now, I just don't have a lot of new things because of where I'm at.
Right.
If you want to reach me, you can reach me at my phone number, 218-230-8851. Otherwise, I think my pchris54@hotmail.com.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we'll make sure we put that on the notes in this session. Kristen or Dennis, any questions, comments, thoughts for Paulette?
I was just,
Oh, go ahead, Dennis.
I was just wondering about, did you say watercoloring?
Pardon me?
You do watercoloring?
I didn't hear that, Dennis. I'm sorry, you cut out.
Oh, did you watercoloring?
Do I do watercoloring?
Yeah.
Not solely watercoloring. I probably do it in a combo. Maybe I'll do some watercolors with some pastel or pen and ink.
Okay. Frustrating?
Watercolor sometimes, and I don't get along. I'll be point blank on that one. But somehow I keep coming back and doing it on some of my other things, so it's interesting.
Very, very.
Yes. And Dennis, likewise, I think it's always fun to see what other artists do, and boy, I do appreciate what you do. So it's fun to see. So thank you too for sharing.
Well, thank you very much for your thought.
Yeah.
So, Paulette, did you say, do you prefer like pen and ink or acrylic, or you just like to try different things? And
You know, I really like the challenge of trying different things. I did for a while a lot of colored pencil. Right now, it seems to me that I'm working a little bit more with the watercolor and just doing some, just some different things right now. So I can't say that I just solely stop at one thing. No.
And how about size? I know you showed us a small one, and you said the one at your in-laws was larger. Do you usually do a bigger piece or smaller pieces?
Right now, I've done more smaller pieces. The um, the ones that I did, the collages, those were probably bigger ones. So yeah, it just depends on probably subject matter a lot of times. But right now, for me, what's working is maybe some smaller pieces.
Sure. And you talked about working with your grandson, right? Are there other
Yeah.
people who you paint with, or are you mostly solo?
I belong with an art group of, what is there, maybe 15 of us, where we get together, try to monthly, and we do a paint away once a year. So there we get together and just kind of have fun painting together, drawing together. That's very stimulating.
Is that Artists Unlimited?
Yes, it is. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
that's great.
yeah. And it's been a great group. It's, yeah, very good.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate your painting in the booklet.
Well, thank you. I appreciate your comments.
Yeah, do you have, I guess this would be a question, one more question to both of you, Paulette and Dennis. Do you have, when it comes to creative inspiration, how do you tap into that? Does it just kind of arise suddenly? Are you able just to like, I'm going to start working on a project and it just comes to you over time, or what's that like?
For a while, excuse me, again, for a while I was doing flowers, and I would just do different flowers, probably in watercolor, some in acrylic, and it just seemed like I just went through a phase with that. Right now, I guess I'm just doing some abstract things, which is entirely different from what I've done before, and I'm having fun with that. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Usually it takes a long time for me to think of something that can be appropriately made in the metal to make it look attractive. Because you can pound out, there's a lot of stuff out there you can pound out, but it takes a while to kind of think this process through and draw it out. And you never know, it might hit you while you're out there deer hunting or fishing or just sitting there watching a campfire and see fireflies go by or something. You just never know. It just hits you, and then all of a sudden you just start thinking about it. It's kind of like you get the bug for a new car. It just drives you nuts till you kind of get it. Either you buy one or else you get thumped on the head or something. It just bugs you until you figure out a way to do it.
Okay, good. So I just want to remind everybody, so this exhibit, this will go on until December 1st. And, it's at the Northland Community and Technical College, and you can see this during their operating hours, which are Monday through Friday from 8 to 4:30, I believe. And it's free. There's a guest book, sign that. Plan on just taking a little time just to slowly go through and see all the amazing artwork there in the gallery. We are going to have a reception. I just got that figured out today for a date. And so I'll just announce that now. And so that's going to be Friday, November 19th. And we'll be sending out more information. Paulette and Dennis will let you know more, as well as all the other artists, what that means. And it'll just be a time that people can come out and see the artwork. It will be in the evening. There's a band concert happening at Northland at that same time. And so that's kind of a neat way to have two events at the same time. And so people that are at the band concert could come over and see the gallery. But we'll be sending out more information about that soon. Kristen, anything else?
Well, we should mention that, most of the artists have work for sale. It might be the work in the exhibit, or they might have other work for sale. So Christmas, the holidays are coming soon. This is a great chance to buy some artwork that's created locally. And, it's such a variety of things. So I think that's intriguing.
We've got pottery for sale. We've got music CDs. We've got pen and ink, cards, sculpture, watercolor, acrylic, photography, jewelry, glasswork, and almost all of that is for sale in the gallery. And the way that works is, if you're interested, you can contact the artist directly and work out how you'll get the piece and how to pay for it. And all the artwork will stay in the gallery until the end, till December 1st. But then if you've purchased something, you can take it at that time, or figure out how to take that. Yeah.
So you're saying the pickup date is going to be December 1st, not?
Yes. December 1st, so that's a Wednesday, and I'll be sending out more information, Dennis, to you and Paulette and all the other artists about it may be multiple days you can pick up the work, but I'll be in contact with all of you to let you know when to pick it up and how we can arrange that. So
we'll see how those turnarounds work in the wintertime.
Yeah, I know. I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Well, I think we're at the end now. So I just want to say thanks, Paulette. Thanks, Dennis, for taking time out of your evening to be here with us and sharing about your lives and your artwork. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah, this was great. Okay, well, I'm going to end the broadcast. Thanks for listening and participating.